have been a success story. We have 47 current election managers who are the constituents, 290 constituents who form an increased permanent staff of the IBC, which to date stands at about 1,000. We also which did not have policies and procedures, and so we set on a journey to develop various policy manuals and standard operating procedures within the Commission systems and operations. All the directorates now have policies and manuals, and as we leave the Commission, we urge the incoming Commission to build on these policies and manuals, revise them where need be, but these documents are the ones that have guided us into general elections. They provide clear operational and administrative procedures for effective governance and streamlining of the Commission's activities. One of the areas we also came up with was drafting legislations and some bills to Parliament. Although most of these bills have not been looked at, and I'm happy, Honorable Deputy Speaker, and my learned friend Sigei, you are here, and the Attorney General is being here. We drafted Referendum Bill 2020, IBC Amendment Bill 2020, Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, and Election Laws Amendment. These bills are still lying in the House, and we urge the Parliament, please look at them and at least prepare them so that this Commission can have better legal framework for the next election. It's good manners internationally that election laws need to be passed at least 2 years before elections, or at worst 1 year before elections, to avoid the last minute rush. So we hope this time round we have the 13th Parliament, which I'm sure should look at these bills and pass the necessary amendments to the election law, at least 2 years or at least 1 year before elections, so that the Commission can prepare adequately for the 2027 elections. Among the key things we did was voter registration. We had an additional 2.743498 new registered voters, and expanded the diaspora voting to additional countries to make a total number of 12. The Commission subjected the register to audit and cleaning up, and the final voters register was 22,120,458,000, which gave us 46,229 polling stations. This Commission in 2022 reduced the cost of election as compared to 2017. We actually reused the technology that we deployed in elections. We only bought 14,000 new KIMS kits, but reused the old ones. We did early procurement, although we did not have funding until the last election year, but we did early procurement by entering into framework contracts with various suppliers, and negotiated better rates for some of the materials, strategic materials. For example, ballot papers in 2017 we were paying about 150 shillings per ballot paper, but in 2022 we pay 25 shillings per ballot paper. So the cost of elections was reduced, but it cannot come down tremendous because we must rely on technology, and technology is expensive. And also our legal framework is what drives the cost of elections, where we must have a certain number of polling stations, not exceeding 700 voters per polling station. So as a Commission, also said we must print sufficient ballot papers. We printed ballot papers equivalent to the number of registered voters. This then served two purposes. One, reduced the cost. Number two, it eliminated avenues that provide opportunity for electoral malpractice like multiple voting or ballot stuffing. So we just had enough ballot papers, and of course we also, in an area where there is no possibility of eliminating possibility of malpractice, we strictly identified voters using biometric voter identification system and using only the printed register. Manual register was deployed in a few areas where technology failed. Transmission of results, we only transmitted the image of result from 34A using the results transmission system from polling station to the national tallying center and constituency tallying center. We deploying a secure public portal where election results from 34A, 34B, and 34C were hosted for the nation and the world to access. A record 386 million logins were reported to the portal, and those that tallied the results got the same results as the IBC result in Form 34C. This was the game changer in the elections and elevated the aspect of transparency to a whole new world level. The representative from the National Police Service has mentioned our collaboration. Indeed, we came up with a program of collaboration with National Police Service, the Election Security Arrangement Program, and the trained police officers on election management. This arrangement is good. It has to continue for purposes of managing elections and peace in the country. I'm pleased to report that the Commission and National Police Service worked harmoniously well, serving a few isolated incidents at tallying centers. The Commission also developed 17 election manuals that were used in training staff and other stakeholders like judiciary, political parties, and the media. These trainings gave stakeholders a clear understanding of the election process to engage in various areas related to elections. We collaborated with the media, Kenya Media Sector Working Group to enhance transparency and ensure a quick flow of information in election reporting the public. IBC also had a MOU signed between Editors Guild and the Kenya Media Sector Working Group, and 600 journalists were trained on areas related to elections for accurate reporting of election results. At the Bomas of Kenya, we had the Media Center, which hosted local and international media, and we also had a media consortium which was formed, and the expected outcome was that the media would tally results and announce. Even after having done all this, the media, I know, embarked on a journey to tell you results, but never announced. I think there's only one media house that posted results on the website, which were equal to the results which was announced by the Commission. The achievements are many. Because of time, I'll move on to a few challenges because I know our chief guest needs to make his speech. The Commission, in the course of achieving all these milestones I've mentioned, of course, has encountered a number of challenges. As a country, we need to be alive from where we sit as a Commission, that these challenges are many, but I'll just highlight a few. One of the biggest challenges sitting as an election manager is the highly ethnicized and divisive politics in Kenya. The combination of highly competitive elections and negative ethnicity in Kenya's politics always leads to divisive elections that often results in poll violence. Ethnicity is often the main currency of competitive elections and is habitually mutates into conflicts between dominant competing ethnic tribes thus undermining national unity, security, and stability. Such divisive elections have always led to enormous political pressure being applied on the Commission, as commissioners and staff of IBC are always subject to ethnic profiling during campaigns and public rallies, making them insecure and susceptible to attacks. Although the challenges posed by highly competitive politics and negative ethnicity are recognized by all stakeholders in Kenya, there has never been a deliberate effort to conclusively deal with the issue. Instead, symptomatic treatment such as disbandment of the Commission has been routinely undertaken in every election cycle. It's time as a nation that we had a candid discussion on the electoral system that the country should adopt to suit the circumstances of our country's political anatomy. I've mentioned the issue about late enactment of laws. This is a challenge, and I believe Parliament should take up this challenge, that election laws be enacted at least 1 year before the elections. Another big challenge we have, as we leave the Commission, and stakeholders in this room should take note, is that the Commission is expected to be funded within the 5-year electoral cycle. And we normally the Commission will urge stakeholders in the process and executive to ensure that a Commission has timely funding throughout the electoral cycle. But more importantly, we have the IBC fund, which is provided for in Section 18 of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act. This fund needs to be actualized so that the Commission gets its funding at the beginning of each financial year so as to be able to deliver on its mandate. Well, I'll say one more thing that we saw during the last election. The Constitution of Kenya 2010, Article 88, lays great emphasis on the independence of the Commission, both in decision making as well as operations. Despite these clear legal provisions, attempts are always made to undermine the independence of the Commission during elections. The 2022 general elections witnessed probably the gravest attempts to usurp the independence of the Commission and the sovereign will of the people of Kenya as expressed in the polls. These attempts took the form of ethnic profiling and open threatening of some members of the Commission and staff, arrest and holding incommunicate of Commission staff and service providers without lawful basis, abduction and illegal detention of staff and service providers by state security, attack and assault of some members of the Commission, staff and service providers by goons and law enforcement agents at the Bomas of Kenya and at some county and constituency tallying centers. Abduction and murder of a constituency returning officer, intimidation of the Commission by some members of the National Security Advisory Council to moderate results which goes against the will of the people. The gravity of these attempts to subvert the will of the people cannot be wished away or swept under the carpet because they might re-emerge in the future. For this reason, the Commission wrote to the President of the Republic of Kenya requesting for a public inquiry in respect of the process leading to the declaration of the final results at the Bomas of Kenya. The outcome of the inquiry, we believe, will bolster the independence of the Commission and ensure that it maintains the stature contemplated by the Constitution. It will also enable a future election environment devoid of harassment, intimidation, profiling, and harm of Commission staff while discharging their duties. It also ensures that institutions that support the Commission during elections discharge their duties and responsibilities in accordance with the law, and not as directed by individuals with partisan interest hell-bent on subverting the will of the people. As we finalize our term in the Commission, we must say that one of the biggest threats to the Commission is misinformation and disinformation. We have seen misinformation or spread of false incorrect statements or facts in a political environment is a recipe for tension, unrest and chaos. And in Kenya, just like in other jurisdictions, misinformation is the latest and probably the greatest threat to democracy. False accusations have the potential to cause violent conflict orders leveled against the Commission's conduct of elections by political players. In most instances, no action is taken against authors of these remarks, as they are considered to enjoy freedom of speech, yet they can discredit an otherwise free, fair, and credible election. It is surprising that despite remarkable enhancement of checks to guarantee integrity of the electoral process, the old notion that elections are stolen or rigged still pervades our political rhetoric. It's even grave that misinformation and disinformation is unashamedly presented in our hallowed courts as evidence during election petitions. There's need for action to draw the line between free speech and misleading statements, and I'm happy that a few institutions take that responsibility in this House today, and I hope this will be taken up in future. In conclusion, the tenure of myself and the two commissioners comes to an end on 17 January 2023. We have made a fair share of contribution towards strengthening democracy in Kenya. We hold that the August 2022 election, whose presidential results were held by the Supreme Court, were free, fair, credible, transparent, and impartial elections. This could not have been a governance structure of the Commission and its guiding legal regime. The Commission, as established and mandated by the Constitution of Kenya and advocacy Act, has clear roles, duties, responsibilities of its members and staff. Pursuant to this provision, the Commission also has structures, including plenary meetings, governance structures. The Commission is not devoid of corporate governance. We have full structures in place, and we believe with the legal amendments that may come up in Parliament, this Commission can only grow stronger. It's therefore incumbent upon the Commission and staff to conform to this fidelity to the Constitution. To act in any other manner is tantamount to straying into forbidden territories of breaching the objectives of the Commission, and these objectives are shared with other constitutional commissions and independent offices, protecting the sovereignty of the people, securing observance of all states in constitutionalism. For that's why we were created. This launch marks my last duty as the chairman of the Commission. I exceed a very contented man, and I say we gave it our best. We chatted and weathered the storms that threatened the existence of the Commission. We endured relentless fatigue in our preparation for election. We mastered high courage of this country to the next level. I wish to acknowledge the assistance we have been accorded by our development partners, that includes the direct support of UNDP, led deepening democracy programs with the membership of the European Union, United Kingdom, the Republic of Germany, Republic of Italy, and Republic of Ireland. We also appreciate various initiatives by USAID. Finally, I thank the people of Kenya for this opportunity to serve you the last 6 years, equally with abiding respect, a blood resolve to vote peacefully, the resolve you made as people of Kenya to vote peacefully during this election. It's a gift that I cherish and carry with me always. God bless IBC and God bless Kenya. Thank you very much. With those very, very long remarks, it's now my singular duty and honor to welcome our chief guest, Honorable Justin Muturi, Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you. Please be seated. I think I wish, Mr. Chairman, we had more time for you because, as you noticed, nobody dosed as you gave an account of what you have done in the last 6 years. And you did some of the things that you highlighted, which were also touched on by the Honorable Kathuri Murongi, matters that are quite important to us at the state law office. And indeed, we look forward to a commission that stands firm as you did. I don't know whether it's Commissioner Gulira or Commissioner Molu saying this, that the job of the commissioners of the IEBC is not for the faint-hearted. But we look forward to a day, and I think you set the pace, when elections in this country will just be like any other event. I'm saying this because I think the registrar of political parties and your predecessors one time accompanied me to observe elections in France. And what I saw, my good brother Felix, was so impressive that first of all, when they advertised for returning officers, presiding officers, people volunteered not to be employed, but just volunteer. They appealed for volunteers. And we found retired civil servants, teachers, and you just volunteer. You go, people are voting somewhere, we went round. We couldn't tell that there was an election happening. So we had to be direct and that it is that place, that's where people are voting. And at 5 p.m. when the election voting was to close, the presiding officer would be out there and would go, please, make sure you're in, otherwise after 5, I'll close. So we went on to see how it happens. And in one of the polling stations, exactly 5, the doors closed, no policemen. Doors closed, and the presiding officer picked everything, all the materials, put in some box, and then he went out carrying the box into his car boot and drove on to the talent center. I wondered, hey, if this were to happen in Kenya, if the commissioners here commissioner's life is in danger. Can you imagine the returning and presiding officers in the villages putting a box which has ballots into his car boots, and there's no maybe for that, those of you who are young, those many years ago, would say that they're going to be stolen en route, and we have to put very many armed policemen in a Land Rover, because anything could happen between the polling station and the tallying center. I've witnessed this registrar, both when we observed that in France, and I also witnessed the same in Ireland, which is why I was impressed when I saw that among some of the development partners the Irish did. Similar situation. Volunteers. Anyway, please, because you must help the commissioners, the commission, as partners, and the matters of elections, Mr. Felix Odhiambo. Please, can you try to also help educate Kenyans that elections is not a matter of life and death, but there is life after an election. Indeed, as you can attest today, that August 9th happened, and we're still living by the grace of God. The chairman of the IEBC, Mr. Chebukati, and members of the IEBC present, the chair of the Council of Governors, Excellency Anne, the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, UN Representative to Kenya, Mr. Anthony Gororano, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my privilege to join you today for the launch of the IEBC Post-Election Evaluation Report, which is the last phase of the recently concluded 2022 general elections. I'm most grateful and deeply honored by the invitation from the chairperson of the IEBC to address you and to officially launch the report. The preparation and development of the report that we are launching today is an important task in self-evaluation, but also forms a key milestone in the election cycle. As has been said before, elections are not an event, but a process. This evaluation therefore presents all stakeholders with the opportunity to make an assessment of the performance and to reflect on the lessons for future elections. The report affirms IEBC's commitment to open itself up to scrutiny in the spirit of transparency and accountability, and in the performance of its constitutional obligations. May I therefore take this opportunity to thank the IEBC for the excellent and extensive work that it has done in preparing and developing the report and for organizing this launch today. In the same vein, we must appreciate the work of the IEBC, the work that the IEBC did in the last elections in conducting what will perhaps objectively go down in our history as one of the most credible and transparent general elections. The conduct of the said election, which is the subject of the report we are launching today, marked a significant stride in our electoral democracy. It also demonstrated that the IEBC had come of age as an independent constitutional commission. This was an important milestone for processes, but also for other electoral democracies across the world. In previous electoral cycles, the conduct of elections has often been marred by violence and vandalism. It has also been the subject of justifiable and objective criticism, and in one instance, which has been repeated in 2017, the reason for the nullification of the presidential election results. What we must credit this IEBC with, under the chairmanship of Mr. Chebukati, is the ability to provide leadership and to steer the IEBC towards addressing all the shortcomings and challenges that have been faced before. Following the decision of the Supreme Court to nullify the presidential election results of 2017, the IEBC learned its lessons and worked on improving its systems and practices in readiness for the next electoral cycle. The improvements were in the areas of strengthening the legal and regulatory framework and adopting open, accountable, and transparent practices in the conduct of the elections. The deployment of sustainable technology or suitable technology in the 2022 general elections, for instance, greatly promoted openness and transparency in the election and minimized the opportunities for fraud. The results of the presidential election, for example, were posted on a public portal. Anyone could easily access the election results as received directly from the grassroots. This was a significantly radical shift from the past, where uncertainty and disputes around the election results were often due to the opaqueness around the process leading to the declaration of results. The improved systems and policies were vindicated in the eyes of the election observers, the Supreme Court, in relation to the presidential election result, and above all, the people of Kenya. In true appreciation of the fact that there is always room for improvement, to take stock of the strides that have been made and the challenges that have been encountered in the attainment of free, fair, and credible elections. Some of the areas that we may seek to improve on following the 2022 general elections are civic education to promote voter registration and participation in the electoral processes. As actors in the election sector, we also need to engage on some of the pertinent issues that still linger around our election processes, such as promoting the inclusion of gender and other minorities, campaign financing laws, and internal dispute resolution mechanisms within our political parties. One area that requires careful consideration is misinformation, and again the chairman has spoken about it, and disinformation around election experience, especially through social media platforms. Elections are perhaps the most critical pillar of our democracy because through elections, the people of Kenya get the opportunity to elect the leaders and government of their choice. It's critical, therefore, that the conduct and the thorough evaluation at the end of every election cycle to inform strategies and decisions for improvement going forward. It is equally imperative that the outcome of this review process is objectively considered and steps taken towards its implementation. In the event that there would be need, such should be undertaken in good time to avoid the risk of having to change the law or policy in an election period. Having a certain legal and policy framework well before the election is critical to ensuring a level playing field and adequate preparation for the elections. And indeed, in this regard, Mr. Chairman, and immediately after I was sworn into office on the 27th of October, I will read the judgment of Justice Mrima of November 2021 with regard to the composition of the selection panel to the IEBC. I move to speed to propose amendments to the IEBC Act to address the contentious composition of the members of the selection panel, where in the law now, as it stands, the Parliamentary Service Commission selects 4 persons, the Interreligious Council 2, and the Law Society 1. Is it, or is it vice versa? I think so. And because in the judgment, Justice Mrima pointed out that indeed it was wrong for one segment to have so many, we moved to spin and propose, which is why I was a bit disappointed when I didn't see the representative of the PPLC. The registrar will know that was my pet subject when I was the chair of the CMD, to create, and Felix, to create a body within political parties where they can be able to discuss issues and perhaps settle them with a view to also helping the electoral management body in managing elections. So in the proposal, and I'm also the chair of the Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, it is proposed that you leave Parliament with 2, for the obvious reasons that in Parliament, and I'm using Parliament collectively, as you know, under Article 93, 2 houses, 1 Parliament. They are left with 1, so that the majority side selects only 1 representative to the selection panel, and the minority side also selects 1. So that nobody, because as you know, elections in Kenya are extremely, the way we have made it is like it's the end of the world. So nobody claims that they have been shortchanged. So the minority side will select 1, the majority side will select 1, and we have proposed, and it's not cast in stone, as you know, Parliament, you can propose and Parliament can change anything. The political parties liaison committee also proposes 1 nominee to the selection panel, and to take care of the interests of the rest of the public service sector, the Public Service Commission also nominates 1 person to the panel, as well as the Interreligious Council and the Law Society, making a total of 7 members. So we move to speed, and I'm happy that the National Assembly, before going to recess, and passed that legislative proposal, and that now Honorable Kaduri, I'm happy to call the House to come this Thursday and consider those proposals. And if you find them sensible, and granted that by Thursday, the Honorable Chebukati, Professor Gulie, and my friend Molu will no longer be novice, move with spirit to ensure wish to assure the IEBC, and indeed all the players, of unwavering support, particularly given that elections policy is a function within the office of the Attorney General. And this office, in line with its responsibilities as the principal legal advisor to government and the custodian of the rule of law and the public interest, will remain ready to support the IEBC and other players in effecting law and policy reform recommendations, which I believe we will, after scrutinizing this report, come to consider for enactment. The ultimate objective is to ensure that elections are always a true reflection of the will of the people. This is an objective that goes to the foundation and root of our nation, for which we must all work collectively. With these remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you sincerely for your kind attention and ask that the IEBC consider that you have a true partner is to improve on what we have been able to achieve so far. The Honorable Anne did give you some little bit of history about what has happened since the introduction of multi-party politics in Kenya. This is because I know we have worked together in this area. When a political party, or indeed political parties form to aggregate views and word, but more importantly, to acquire power through the ballot. So, I was just looking at the many political parties that we had by the 9th of August, and there are very many, Felix. And there are some, quite a number, that never presented candidates. So why do they exist? How do you form a party, a political party? This is what I was discussing with the chairman. How would you form a political party? Elections are there, and you know there will be an election, there will be elections. And for the whole year, you don't present candidates. You have not found anybody that do you just fold because then you're in the wrong game. Certainly, surely. You have been in existence, you have gone around trying to sell whatever ideas you may have. Nobody has found it worthy listening to you. So you are told now present the candidates, you don't present Marjan. Surely, why then are you existing in our books? You should pack up and go home and try farming, Isn't it? Because we know people do all manner of things. Yeah, farming is going to be very lucrative in this country. So, since that area may not be good for you, just fold and go and do something else. If you are married, go and marry. Even all these are activities that owners of political parties could do. Thank you very much for listening to me. God bless Kenya. God bless you.
Being here and listening, this has been a reflective morning going into the afternoon. Before we get to launch the report, I'd like to inform you that it will be uploaded on the IEBC website shortly. So please keep on clicking like you're clicking on the portal. It should be there. But before that, I just want to welcome Obadia Ketari, who's this year's support services, to come and give us a vote of thanks. Soon after, I will leave you to the launch of the report, and then I will guide with what happens afterwards. Akofi tafadhali.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to adapt the protocols which have been set in the interest of time. After a session of rich speeches, I feel greatly honored and privileged to take this opportunity to express our gratitude and say thank you to our invited guests and commissioners for having taken time to create this important occasion. Let me start by thanking God for having granted us this gift of life. We can't take it for granted that we are here today alive to witness this great occasion. May I also take this opportunity to thank all of you invited guests for taking your time to be here with us today. Special thanks go to our guest of honor, Honorable Justin Muturi, the Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. Let me also say a special thank you to the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Katuri Murungi, Excellency Anne Waiguru, the Chairperson of the Council of Governors, Anthony Gorano, the UN representative, and all other invited guests. Thank you very much for gracing our occasion. I salute the diplomatic missions who are able to create this occasion today. We recognize your support.
come back to their seats, and we'll have an opportunity for a photo session at the tail end of this. So I will ask colleagues to allow for the chief guest and the chairman and the commissioners to get back to their seats so that we get additional photos from here. We still have one more sequence to go, so kindly please allow for that to happen. Opportunity to have group photos after we officially close this event. Thank you very much. For those who still would want to get a photo or two, there is an opportunity for that towards the end of this event. So the guests to get back to their seats so that we are able to finish in this last process. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have one more thing to do. Kindly allow our chief guests and our speakers to get back to their seats so that we are able to